Indecisiveness. I'm still trying to resolve an inner conflict in which I can't quite come to a clear conclusion as to the fact that I might just be indecisive. Or not. The manster, trademark, that's a combination of man and monster. Not always in equal proportion, and I just trademarked it. Legally binding, that is. Anyway, the manster we speak of today absolutely did not, never had, and likely would never have had the weighty albatross of indecisiveness shackled with regrets to his own truncation. This fucker believed in what he was doing, while not steadfastly believing that he needed any particular belief to back his methodical ultraviolence. His road trips were to all points of the country, all the while not having nor needing any point specificity. Only quiet, empty, efficient ambiance of absolute complacency. His "why not" reasoning would have been suited far better screen printed on expensive Egyptian cotton V-neck shirts than his mission statement chronicled forever in the dark corners of the justice system's lost warehouse of the never concluded, etched deep within the annals of human history, only to resurface on occasion for idiot podcasts to poorly prepare their own treatment, where most of the pertinent facts are glossed over with blasé diatribes about the futility and lamented woes of the permanent loss of the Taco Bell Mexican pizza. Now, some will assert that he was possibly the be-all, end-all genius calculator killer, but I posit an option B, that this infallible taker of life became so lax and cocky with his indulgence that he became what the rest eventually all become as well. A footnote. I still can't decide.
But the dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi's waiting, he's blown his horn. I'm already so lonesome I could cry. So kiss me and smile for me and tell me.
I know you are fluent.
What language is that?
You're fluent in butt trumpet.
Man. The Barrios household.
I'm proud of it.
So, welcome to another outlawed by the Geneva Convention pork fart episode of See No, Hear No, Speak No.
Pork. Along with the UFOs, the conspiracies, and
That's right. Hello, once again, from our quaint little town, in an even quainter little city, in a quaint little state, in the quaintest of quaint little countries of Uruguay.
Is that where we are?
Yes, I got him. Zing!
Terrible.
I'm gonna have to cut that out, but I got him.
It doesn't work if they can't hear it, but
I got him good.
just know.
Got him good, guys.
He zinged me.
I zinged him good. So, what brings us all here, what gathers us even, on this occasion of occasions, being Friday night? It's Friday? Is it Friday? Or Saturday?
It's Friday. I
Man.
lose track.
How the days seem to melt into one another when you don't sleep because of babies.
Babies? I didn't sleep because of Mardi Gras.
And most people don't sleep because of Mardi Gras and Class 3 narcotics.
Well, there wasn't any of those that I remember.
Nope. Second class for you. You get the second one.
Maybe I just don't remember.
Oh, down in New Orleans where the blues was born.
Is it?
That's what the song says. Takes a cool cat to blow the horn.
Oh, yeah.
A horn.
Yeah, you're right.
Something, Mardi Gras Street, Mambo beat, the Mardi Gras Mambo. And then repeat. Second verse, same as the first.
Yeah.
I think.
And repeat.
That's the only Mardi Gras song I can remember. So, sorry, I'll be done with my crinkling in a second.
Crinkle on, sir.
I need these chips so bad.
Crinkle on. She waited till we were recording to crinkle chips.
Yeah, well.
Delicious. Are they spicy enough for you?
Mm. Yes.
Silly hooker.
So, on today's episode of the show that we've been introducing for quite some time now,
Indeed.
in which you can email us at snhandsnpod@gmail.com.
Tell us about it.
That's right. Tell us about your New Orleans Mardi Gras memories.
Oh.
Or lack thereof. Just tell us how many days you lost when you were here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear a lot of that around.
Doesn't even have to be during Mardi Gras. It'll still happen.
Yeah. A friend of mine who I know from the YouTube stuff is an older guy, maybe early 70s.
Uh-huh.
And he's told me maybe 2 or 3 times about when he was in his 40s and he came here for a visit, and he completely lost 3 days to the point where he went out drinking one day, and then when he got back to the hotel that night, they asked him to step behind the counter to speak to him after he said, "Why can't I get in my room?" And they said, "Because we thought you left. You haven't been here for 3 days."
Shit.
And he's like, "No, my stuff was there." They're like, "Yeah, it's not anymore."
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What do they do? Like, they just give it away, or
I think they just take it home.
give it away now?
I would just take it home. I'd be like, "Kids, we had another one."
We had another one.
Yeah, this guy just wore a bunch of flannel shirts, and he had like $20 that he left on the nightstand, and it was crusted in something, but we're used to that.
Yeah.
We gonna eat tonight. Then they just start eating the flannel shirts.
It's not good for your digestion.
It is delicious, though, if
Okay.
prepared correctly.
All right.
Tonight's episode is not based on, because that means that I would change things to be infactual.
It is a reiteration.
Yes, a retelling of Wikipedia. That's right. Oh man, the echo effect. It's going to sound good there. Sorry. So, is on Israel Keys.
Should be fun.
He's a crazy fuck with a crazy story that not everybody knows that much about. He was a very short-lived story when he lived in our story.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be As Why.
As why?
Mm-hmm. As Why.
Sounds like a...
Our story begins, Christopher,
Oh, jeez.
in 1978.
And so it begins.
That's right. The afros were starting to deflate a little bit.
They were.
The wide flare bell-bottoms were getting a little bit more conservative.
Rest in peace.
The 80s were coming up, and the 80s were all about Reagan. They were all about cocaine.
Leg warmers and headbands.
And they
sweatbands.
were all about looking your damnedest, you know?
In neon.
Yeah.
And very short shorts.
Man, neon short shorts. Just the ball game on lots of... Just...
So many dangles.
There's a time in life when you're like, my balls don't fit in my pants no more. I'll make them shorter.
Why not make them shorter?
What are they gonna... I'm still wearing shorts. What are they gonna do, arrest me?
Not tied around the legs at all.
No, it's where I keep my change.
Oh my god.
So,
Coin purse. Huh.
he was born on January 7th, 1978, to Heidi Keys. That's not her original first name. Her original first name is Hackinson. Heidi Hackinson?
Oh, I thought you meant Hackinson Keys.
No. Man. Hackinson Keys. And John Jeffrey Keys.
Okay.
John Jeffrey Key. No. He was the second of 10 children born to a large Mormon family.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was
Gross.
really large Mormon family. It'd be a large normal family, but a Mormon family, I'm not so sure.
It's probably only medium sized.
I'm going to say you could do better.
It's awful.
They were Mormon expats from Torrance, which is not in Italy, as I first thought it was. The Torrance is in California.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
It's right at the bottom left, almost all the way down.
Yeah, that's not what I was thinking at
No.
all.
Where Israel and his 9 siblings were homeschooled because Mormon. Cough.
Yeah.
Hmm?
We're not going to let anybody else tell you anything else about the God we know and love.
What? Why not?
Because that would be unholy.
But what if it doesn't involve him?
Nope. Mormon.
That was a trick question, Mom.
Everything involves him.
Yeah, see? You can't go back on it. No. I've called the police.
No.
They are on their way with their Mormon blankets.
That John Smith could never be wrong.
One hole in it.
Awful.
That's how you do it when you're Mormon. Magic underwear.
Yeah, of course.
So when Keyes was 5, the family just up and rejected Mormonism. I didn't know that was a thing you could do if you was a Mormon.
Didn't either.
It seems like someone would get angry.
Damn that John Smith.
You know, I don't think he really wrote them tablets.
No, he didn't.
All right, well, we're not Mormons anymore.
But the alien that told him to go find them.
I swear to God, I thought you were going to say that alien that told him to go fuck himself. That would make for a much better story, I think. I would believe him a little bit better. So they moved to an area near Colville, Washington. They either were a coal mining town or a guy named Cole is the one that founded it. So Colville, Washington. Still homeschooled and now isolated from society, the Keyes family lived in a one-room cabin located at
Holy crap.
Rocky Creek Road, where they lived without electricity or running water, and with 10 kids and 2 adults.
In 78. Jesus. Wow.
After that, it was 5, so it was, 80, yeah. So,
Wow.
So the family attended services at a church called the Ark, which practiced white supremacist Christian identity ideology. Now, that intrigued me a bit, so I looked up what Christian identity. So, it is as follows. An interpretation of Christianity which advocates the belief that only Celtic and Germanic peoples, such as the Anglo-Saxon, the Nordic nations, and or Aryan people, and people of kindred blood are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and therefore the descendants of the ancient Israelites, not actual people from Israel.
Do they know anything about genetics and historical anything? It's like, are they just making shit up?
This next sentence is really telling. Independently practiced by individuals, independent congregations, and some prison gangs. It's not an organized religion, nor is it affiliated with specific Christian denominations.
Clearly.
And some prison gangs.
And some prison gangs. Whenever you have to throw that in there, I think, that's the telltale sign.
I think you're on the right track to
You know.
to getting that sweet, sweet tax-free status.
You're going to be safe here.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Oh, we will sharpen some toothpicks and some toothbrushes even
Toothbrushes.
on some concrete, and we will put them inside other people where there not used to be holes for them.
Especially if they badmouth our version of God, yes.
Man, God is good.
At what? We don't know yet.
I don't know. Keyes later described the Ark as an Amish-like church environment.
Amish-like?
That doesn't really seem like they'd be that Amish-like.
It really doesn't.
During this period of attending the Ark, the Keyes family befriended the neighboring family of Chivi Kehoe,
Oh, Lord.
who apparently was later convicted in '96 of a triple murder. That's what this says. And I tell you what, Wikipedia loves telling me when serial killers meet each other.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's cool to know. That's a fun little trivia factoid.
So, just real quick, that guy is an American white supremacist and convicted murderer. He's serving 3 consecutive life sentences for the kidnapping, torture, and murder of William Mueller and his family. His accomplice, Daniel Lewis Lee, was sentenced to death for the murders and was executed in 2020. So, on to Lil Keyes becoming a little bit less of a Lil Keys, but still not full-grown Keys.
Is that his rap name?
Lil Keys? Or the other thing that I said after that, because that's probably more marketable.
Full Keys?
Whole ring of keys. So in his adolescence, the family would attend another church in Colville called the Christian Israel Covenant Church. If your church needs more than 2 words in the name of it, it's hate speech.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
That taught them British Israelism as a doctrine. I don't know what that is. Do you want to check it out? Let's see what it is.
British Israelism.
The pseudo-archaeological belief that people of the British Isles are genetically, racially, and linguistically the direct descendants of the 10 lost tribes of ancient Israel. With roots in the 16th century, British Israelism was inspired by several 19th century English writings such as John Wilson's 1840 Our Israelitish Origin. Our Israelitish. What do you want? Do you want some Israelite or some Israelitish? That's numerous British Israelite organizations were set up throughout the British Empire as well as in the United States from the 1870s onwards. A number of these organizations are independently active as of the early 21st century. In America, the idea gave rise to the Christian identity movement. So they're going back to their roots, basically.
And batshit insane.
Oh, they've been there for a long time.
Okay. We're on a good start. Yeah, this is a good beginnings.
Miss
for a well-rounded individual. That's what I'm saying.
Miscegenation? I don't know what that word. I got to see what that is.
Miscegenation?
I don't know. There's no O in it at all. Let's see. Is the interbreeding of people who are considered to be members of different races. Oh, that's okay. So that's what it's called when people are like, I don't think they should be dating. I don't think a duck and a warthog are gonna be good parents.
A duck with tusks? I mean, that does sound
No, it's gonna be a warthog
dangerous.
that is buoyant in water.
Oh,
Yes.
that's still pretty dangerous.
Yes, for the warthog, yes, absolutely. They believe that this was abominable, like the snowman,
Uh-huh.
and deviant, like that website with the art.
Of course.
That Anglo-Saxons were to rule over the perceived inferior races and was alleged by Keyes to have been militia-like. Or militia-like-ish.
Militia-ish like.
Militia-ish like. That's really hard to fucking say. For years, some of the Keyes children had been forced to sleep in a tent due to their cabin's small size.
Wow.
I bet the smell was better.
Yeah.
To survive, they were made to hunt their food, chop firewood, and work on local farms to support the family. As a hobby, Keyes hunted, and this is in quotes, anything with a heartbeat.
Oh.
Yep. He freely admitted to skinning a deer alive to his peers at church.
Well, that's good training.
Yeah, man. He's, why skin it alive, man?
Gotta know how to field dress, I
They
guess.
can't even scream. In the forest, no one can hear the deer's screams as you're skinning it alive.
No, and no one cares either. Because it's in the forest.
As a result, Keyes was ostracized and actively avoided by various youths who attended the Christian Israel Covenant Church, with one girl recounting that Keyes' presence, in quotes, made my skin crawl. Now,
Right.
when you're actively avoided in the white supremacist church, something's really wrong with you.
Seems to me like, yeah, that's a special case. I mean, because these people are already awful, so
Yeah, like
how much more awful
Hey,
do
everybody,
you have to be?
we're fucking horrible garbage humans. I'm scared of you, man.
But this guy over here,
Something about him makes my skin crawl.
mm-hmm.
As a youth, he admitted to shooting at neighbors' houses with his BB gun. Who hasn't done that? Come on. Starting fires in the woods. Who hasn't done that? Come on.
Right.
Breaking into houses for fun. Who hasn't allegedly done that? Come on.
Has it allegedly?
On one occasion, he'd stolen several guns from his neighbor's residence and was forced to apologize by his parents after their discovery of the cache. Israel, will you come here for a second, please? So, we were looking for pornography, We found all these guns, though, with the neighbor's name on it. Gonna need you to write a note.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like the kid you want going to your school. It's a good thing he was homeschooled.
Yeah. Oh, he should have shot up his school. You get it? Because he would have... Yeah.
Would have made that tent living
Oh,
a little more comfortable.
After torturing and killing a cat, which he allegedly gored with a bullet as he chuckled, I'm guessing like a rifle round, like something you could actually gore something with, and not like a 22 or a 9mm. That would be weird. Like this isn't weird already. I'm gonna stop saying things are weird because it's obviously weird. As he chuckled in the presence of two family friends, and a sibling, he had epiphany. He had an epiphany. Not he didn't have epiphany. I went to school with epiphany. In which he felt that he was different from his peers who ran away from him. No shit, kid.
And that made him chuckle.
Yeah, he thought that was funny.
Okay.
He said, "You know what? Life is like a box of chocolates. You know, You never know that you're gonna end up killing a cat with a bullet that you didn't shoot out of anything."
Yeah, I'm still trying to picture how that was done, and
It's none of the options in my brain are good.
no, it
None of
seems
them-
like a lot of work.
None
too.
of them have the cat high-fiving him as this is happening.
Indeed.
He would subsequently keep his increasingly antisocial behavior to himself upon this realization, withdrawing socially due to being ostracized.
Isn't that usually what antisocial people do?
So, I believe what this is saying,
That's
Christopher,
pretty normal.
is that instead of changing to not terrify those loved ones around him, he decided to hide the terror and keep cultivating and nurturing,
Right.
while showing the rest of his family and loved ones that, no, that's not me anymore. You know what that means?
Yeah.
He knows that he's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
If you have to hide the crazy, you know you're crazy.
No, he's perfectly fine with it.
If you show up to the dinner table every night with Bullet Cat, you're crazy, and you don't know it.
Fair enough.
So, by his teenage years, he had become a skilled and proficient carpenter. He built his first wooden cabin for his family at age 16, I'm guessing out of necessity.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, he would work for a general contractor whose daughter he dated from 95 to 97, Shrew.
And she's alive? Okay.
I don't know. Maybe she didn't have any cats.
Ah.
Soon thereafter, the family would relocate to Smyrna, Smyrna, Maine, where they collected sap for maple syrup in a mostly Amish community. Due to their mother's religious zealousy,
Yeah.
the Keys children would be forced to secretly flee their parents to watch movies with friends. They were forbidden to learn musical instruments, as we all know that's against God.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All about the devil.
Sometime during this period is when he would renounce his former Christian faith. On one occasion, he would even go as far as to declare his atheism to his parents after a falling out. Right? This would lead his parents to evicting their eldest son from their Maupin, Oregon residence, shunning him for apparent blasphemy. So he was the oldest must have been a female.
Well, thankfully they weren't still living in that house of Satan.
Yeah.
House that Satan built.
Man, I like him. Back then, before the... No, I didn't.
No, you
No.
didn't.
He then developed an interest in Satanism,
Well,
with plans of committing a ritual murder.
time to build a much bigger and better house.
That's when we fast forward to adulthood, because that's what happens after teenage years.
Really? He builds another house? Good
No.
for him.
No, I'm
Good
just
for
saying that following his eviction and shunning by his family, he would allegedly commit a sexual assault on a teenage girl who had been tubing with her friends down the Deschutes River in Maupin, Oregon.
Damn, he went from Maine to Oregon?
No, he's all around this motherfucker.
That's right.
Although this wasn't his first sexual assault, he admitted that he stalked her from a tree line before very violently sexually assaulting her.
Oh.
That's in quotes. The girl, who he estimated to be between 14 and 18 years of age by a knife point. Originally planning to murder her, he let her go into the river, let her go in the river tube he had originally abducted her from. So, we now come to the ripe old year of 1998, which makes him 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He, after the violent, he would promptly relocate and enlist in the United States Army in the state of New Jersey, where he served as a specialist in the Alpha Company, 1st Battalion, 5th Infantry.
All the way back to the other side of the country.
Yeah. He was stationed at Fort Lewis, Fort Hood, and spent much time abroad while stationed in Sinai, Egypt. Here, Keyes befriended several soldiers, informing one of them that he would like to kill him after he made him a little upset about something. I've said, I'll kill you.
Not, I would like to kill you.
Yeah, not, I would receive pleasure from ending your life.
Yeah, I believe it would tickle me pink.
That is way more terrifying. I think
To immortalize you.
No, it would tickle me silly to end your fucking life. Yeah, I dig none of that. While at Fort Lewis, he served on a mortar team in the 1st Battalion, 5th Infantry, 25th Infantry Division. There's too many things of thing in there. Former Army friends of Keyes had noted his quiet demeanor and habit of keeping to himself. And they liked it that way. Because fuck that guy.
He's creeping everybody out.
One time he told me he killed a cat with a bullet.
Talking about Satan.
He says that Satan's cool, and I'm not with that. On the weekends, he was reported to drink heavily, consuming entire bottles of his favorite drink, Wild Turkey Bourbon.
Oh, gross.
Entire bottles of Wild Turkey.
That's bad.
He was also a fan of the hip-hop duo Insane Clown Posse, and displayed posters of the musical act in the barracks.
Now it all makes sense.
The Great Malenko. Ha!
Now it all makes sense.
In February of 2001...
He was down with the Carnival of Carnage.
Down with the clowns. Gross. He would be arrested for driving under the influence in Thurston County, which is funny because he was obviously not thirsty.
Right.
He wasn't Thurston. And pursuant to a plea agreement, he was fined $350.
Nice.
Yeah. Keyes would then be awarded an Army Achievement Medal for his meritorious. That's right, meritorious.
Okay.
So his meritful, I guess, his meritorious service as a gunner and assistant gunner from December 98 to July 01.
How nice for him.
He was then honorably discharged as he relocated to Nia Bay, Washington. So he's moving on up to the left top of America.
All the way back to the other side.
Mm-hmm. There, and around there, he lived in the Maka Reservation community of Nia Bay on the Olympic Peninsula. And in 2007, he finally started a construction business in Alaska called Keyes Construction, because nothing if not creative, this man.
Right.
While working as a handyman, contractor, and construction worker.
Damn.
That's right. You know what? When you know how to use your hands, and you know that God gave you that special gift of using your hands to make, to create, you can't just leave that by the wayside. You have to. Otherwise, Satan gets pissy.
Satan gets pissy, and he challenges you to a duel.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
if you win,
No.
I
mean, fiddles at dawn, man.
your soul's butthole is.
That devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal.
That's true.
Yeah, he was
I know
in a
the
bind.
story.
He was way behind, and he said something about his wife had made Salisbury steak the night before when he specifically had asked for pizza. And he comes home and he's like, "Salisbury steak is dinner. Dinner's not Salisbury steak." And she's like, "Let go, you're hurting me." He's the devil. The devil would do some shit like that.
Sure. Because everybody loves pizza. When you want pizza, goddammit, you want pizza.
That's right. And to be your wife, apparently. Moitas.
Mm-hmm.
Keyes targeted random people all over the United States to avoid detection, with months of planning before he committed a particular crime. So he just went all around the country being like, I could see myself killing that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He specifically went for campgrounds and other isolated locations. He claimed to only use guns when he had to, and he preferred strangulation because he derived pleasure from witnessing them lose consciousness in a struggle. He had a rule against killing children, which I don't give a fuck if this dude is, what, you a good guy?
He had morals.
Oh yeah, rule against killing children or the parents of children, primarily because of his daughter, whom he feared one day finding out about him and his crimes. Yeah. He claims that he committed his first murder in '98 before pausing the 3 years to go into the army, and then resuming his spree, which I guess 1 and then 3 years and then another doth not a spree constitute.
No.
No, yeah.
No. You have to have at least 3 to start.
Yeah.
A spree, I believe.
See, I always thought a spree was in like an hour. Like if you went on a killing spree, like you killed like a bunch of people real quick.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
It makes more sense just based on how many, on the different cases that you hear specifically called spree killings and or
Yeah, it
serial
all
killings.
seems to happen in a day or whatever.
Yeah.
He admitted to investigators that he killed 4 people in Washington State and claims that he was the subject of an active investigation by state police and the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Those assholes.
Whose website we checked out earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And
Who checked out our website earlier today
probably.
as well.
It was neat though. They had neat stuff in there. A lot of the people that are wanted by the FBI, even top pros as it should be, have only killed 1 person.
And then most of it sounded like crimes of passion more than, you know,
Yes, crimes for passion fruit.
more than anything premeditated, like for
But I mean, it
pleasure purposes.
it didn't tell us that these people. We didn't hear any backstory. We didn't hear any story. It's just this was the crime against this person, and then they were like, I don't want to go to jail, and they ran, and that's why we're the FBI and we're after them.
Right. It's not a fun, not as much fun of a website as you would think, but
It does have that kids page that wouldn't work on the tablet, and I'm intrigued to find out what kind of activities the
What are the
FBI
fun
has on their
games?
kids page.
what are the fun in
What if it's just going to be like, does your parent do stuff like this?
Yeah.
What's their names?
Let's all get fingerprinted.
Cool. Man, that was a thing that happened for real in
Freddy
school.
the fingerprint says. Yeah, it did.
Our fingerprint's name was Friedrich.
That's just no, it couldn't have been.
So he didn't have a felony criminal record in Washington, although he had been stopped on 2 occasions for minor driving-related offenses. This guy's just not trustworthy behind a wheel of a car.
No, still misdemeanors though.
Yeah. Authorities were reviewing unsolved murder and missing person cases. Missing person cases? Persons? To determine which, if any, may be linked to Keyes. He confessed to at least 1 murder in New York State. In late 2012, authorities had not determined the identity, age, or gender of the victim, or when and where the murder may have occurred, but regarded the confession as credible. How?
How?
How do you... We don't know if it was a guy or a girl, or how old they were, or where or when this happened. Oh, but it happened.
Reminds me of that scene from Half Baked where he's like, "Hey, yo, the guy, did you kill my dog?" I believe him, yo.
That's not
I don't know why,
important
but I
right
do.
now. Keyes did have ties to New York. He owned 10 acres, which is 4 hectares. It's 4 guys named
Hectares?
Hector can take up 10 acres. And a dilapidated cabin in the town of Constable.
Those are pretty fat hectares. Okay.
Fat hectares.
How many tortillas does it make to make a fat hectare?
I don't know, but I bet it's delicious.
A hectare.
He also confessed to committing bank robberies in New York and in Texas.
Was any of that confirmed, or they just believed him, yo?
The FBI later confirmed that Keyes robbed the Community Bank branch in Tupper Lake, New York, in April 2009.
Okay.
He also told authorities that he burglarized a Texas home and set it on fire. You don't really have to talk about the burglary then. I was like, no, I just set a house on fire.
I mean, there was some stuff in it that I liked before I did that, but yeah, for the most part.
They had some nice paintings. You know, I've seen the same ones at Target, but these I didn't have to get from Target.
I didn't want to spend $35 on them. You know, it
I
seemed a little
didn't
steep.
feel like perpetuating the machine that allows a corporation to spread so quickly and violently through our communities, so I burned this house down for some
And
some
Target
cheap
is
art.
that.
Authorities claim that Keyes may have murdered a woman believed to be Deborah Fieldman. Believed to be. If you clap your fingers. If you clap your hands and say, I believe that this can't be Deborah Fieldman.
This can be Deborah.
In New Jersey, buried her near Tupper Lake. He also admitted to murdering Bill and Lorraine Currier of Essex, Vermont. Yes.
Okay.
He broke into their home on the night of June 8th, 2011, tied them up, and drove them to an abandoned farmhouse, where he then shot Bill before sexually assaulting and strangling Lorraine.
Oh, right.
Their bodies have never been found. 2 years prior, he hid a murder kit, in quotes, which he later used near the Currier home. So, 2 years ago, he puts this murder kit in the ground and plans to kill these people for 2 years before digging it up and doing it.
That's fucking crazy.
After
How many times do you go and check to make sure those people still
Never.
live in the same place?
Well, I mean,
You
he
just
has to have
assumed?
checked on them every once in a while, right? For 2 years.
I would think so.
Yeah. After the murders, he moved most of the contents to a new hiding place in Parrishville, New York, where they remained until after his arrest. His last known victim was 18-year-old... I thought you were going to cough. It was like a wind-up for a big... Yeah. His last known victim was 18-year-old Samantha Koenig. Koenig. Koenig?
Koenig.
Yes. Samantha Koenig. A coffee booth... a coffee shop employee. I missed where... Okay. A coffee shop employee in Anchorage, Alaska. He kidnapped her from her workplace on February 1st, 2012.
So it just sounds like he was being lazy.
Yeah.
Didn't want to go somewhere else
Yeah,
for
exactly.
a body this time. Oh, God. Let's
Hey.
just keep it local.
He took her debit card and other property.
Went and got a burger.
Yeah, probably.
Hot cup
So-
of soup.
He, man, he got, wait, damn it, where the hell was I? Okay, hold on, give me a second, because it's just,
Suck at this game.
I was better when I was younger. I had more flexibility in the limbs and joints.
And
Smoked
less
more-
of a gag reflex.
Smoked more joints. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't need that being brought up here. He took her debit card, other property, sexually assaulted her, and then killed her the following day. He left her body in a shed, and then he went to New Orleans,
Oh.
where he then departed on a pre-booked 2-week cruise with his family in the Gulf of Mexico.
Wow.
When he returned to Alaska, he removed her body from the shed. He applied makeup to the corpse's face, sewed her eyes open with fishing line, and snapped a picture of a 4-day-old issue of the Anchorage Daily News alongside her body. He gets better. After demanding $30,000 in ransom, he then dismembered her body and disposed of it in Matanuska Lake, north of Anchorage. So, brings her home to the house that he lives in with his family.
Right.
And I can't remember if it was the basement or the garage. I think basement. Brings her, sexually assaults her, kills her. Goes on a 2-week cruise.
2 weeks.
Goes back to Alaska. Gets her body out. Sews her eyelids open. Puts makeup on her. Takes a picture of her next to a newspaper so that he can now extort money from her parents.
She couldn't possibly have looked the same after 2 weeks.
I hate to tell you, but her father thought that she was very much alive from that
Holy
picture.
Crap. He must have left the doors open or something. It was
It's
cold.
Anchorage, fucking Alaska.
Right. It had to have preserved her body in some way.
But what's crazy is that he brought, for lack of a better, less stupid term, but he brought his work home. And his family was none the wiser.
That's fucking crazy.
An FBI report stated that Keyes burglarized 20 to 30 homes across the U.S. and robbed several banks between 2001 and 2012. He might be linked to as many as 11 deaths in the United States and potentially even more outside the country. Keyes planned murders long ahead of time, took extraordinary action to avoid detection. Unlike most serial killers, he didn't have a victim profile, saying he chose victims at random. He usually killed from far from home, and never in the same area twice.
Right.
On his murder trips, that's right, murder trips, he kept his mobile phone off and paid for items with cash. He had no connection to any of his known victims. For the murder of the couriers, he flew to Chicago, where he rented a car, and then drove 1,000 miles to Vermont.
What the fuck?
He then used the kill kit he had hidden 2 years earlier to murder them. Right?
Wow.
So he actually studied other serial killers. He read Mindhunter, which Mindhunter inside the FBI's elite serial crime unit
Right.
at age 14.
I've seen the show and I
Yeah.
really like it, and I'm upset
Yeah.
that they canceled it.
Yeah, well,
It was
you
good.
know, a bunch of whiners. At age 14, he read this fucking book and continued to meticulously study serial killers from his youth. Keyes idolized Ted Bundy, and he felt that he shared many similarities with him. Both were methodical and felt as though they possessed their victims, despite their difference in victim choice and modus operandi. He even went as far as to imitate Bundy's court escape before being seized by guards immediately. Keyes also admired and studied other serial killers, but actively shunned media attention for his crimes, as he was fearful of his family and being labeled a copycat for his admiration of Bundy and the other murderers. He also called Dennis Rader a wimp for apologizing in court for his crimes and showing remorse for his actions. I don't think he fucking showed any remorse. Yes, he robotically apologized for doing these horrible, horrible things for people. We'll get to...
And yes, he was a twat.
We'll get to be TK sooner or later. But when you're caught because you used the church's computer to make your taunt letter to the fucking police and you don't scrub the fucking...
Shit dipper.
So, the investigation and the arrest. After Koenig's murder, Keyes demanded ransom money, and police were able to track withdrawals from the account as he moved throughout the southwestern U.S. During that time, the police controversially refused to release surveillance video of Koenig's abduction, all of which you can see now on YouTube, actually. Keyes was arrested by Texas Highway Patrol Corporal Brian Henry and Texas Ranger. I was gonna say Chuck Norris, but Stephen Rayburn, played by Chuck Norris. in the parking lot of the Cotton Patch Cafe in Lufkin, Texas, on the morning of March 13th, 2012.
Walker's not the only Texas Ranger, but he is the best.
Every Texas Ranger is played by... Anyway. So on the morning of March 13th, 2012, he is arrested outside the Cotton Patch Cafe. He had previously been located at a Lufkin, Texas motel by the Lufkin police. I like how many times they are making me say Lufkin.
Yeah.
By Lufkin Police Department patrolman Chris Nash. Nash, who had just finished his midnight shift as Chuck Norris, was on his way home when he drove through the motel parking lot looking for Keys' vehicle.
Uh-huh.
Not the keys to the vehicle.
Right.
But the vehicle to the keys. That's right. That makes sense.
That works.
Officer Nash located the vehicle, and while confirming its identity, he observed Keys exit a motel room in close proximity to it. The local police had previously been notified about a vehicle matching his that had been driven by the suspect using Koenig's debit card through New Mexico and Arizona. After his arrest, he was subsequently extradited to Alaska, where he confessed to the murder. He was represented by Alaska Federal Defender. That sounds badass. He's wearing tights and shit.
No, I'm sure he's not masked, though.
Rich Kurtner.
He's one of those ones that just wears the headband of power.
Oh, man.
Doesn't feel the need to cover his face.
I've got court today. Hand me my headband.
I have no secret identity.
I dig it, yeah.
I'm outwardly badass.
I'm afraid of no one. I'm Rich motherfucking Kurtner.
That's right.
I'm Alaska's Federal Defender.
I feel it.
Keys was indicted in the case, and his trial was scheduled to begin March of 2013. While he was incarcerated, he did speak to investigators several times. He cooperated to an extent, confessing to some of his crimes, and stated a wish to be executed within a year. So he wanted to expedite his execution. Exponentially.
Nice.
Thank you. Keys said he wanted to avoid Keys said that he wanted to avoid publicity due to the negative attention his young daughter might face, but largely stopped cooperating after his identity was discussed in the media. Wednesday.
Still thinking of his kid. That's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, he's a good dad.
He's a good dad.
He's a good father. But technically, his last murder was a child. So there. You can't trust serial killers these days, Chris. You just can't trust them anymore.
But not his child.
That's true.
I mean, technically everyone's somebody's child.
When you really think of it, yeah. That is true. That's very profound, Christopher.
Still makes him a good father.
Shut up.
Well, it still allows him the ability to be a good father.
Shut up.
Just saying.
On Wednesday, March, May Madness. Wednesday, May 23rd, 2012, Keys attempted to escape during a routine hearing. Keys broke his leg irons and jumped over the railing, but then he was tased, which had to have been hilarious.
Oh, I hope so. They got the video of that on YouTube?
God, I hope so. I haven't seen it, but I'm gonna look. While being held in jail at the Anchorage Correctional Complex on suspicion of murder, Keys managed to conceal a razor blade. He died by suicide on December 2nd, 2012, via cutting his wrist and attempted strangulation
Of himself?
Yes, so really it was more of a strangulation.
Well, that's right. That's.
A suicide note found under his body consisted of an, and I quote, ode to murder, but it offered no clues about other possible victims. In 2020, that is 2 years ago, or a television show from the 80s. The FBI released the drawings of 11 skulls and 1 pentagram, which had been drawn in blood and found underneath Keys' jail cell bed after his suicide. One of the drawings included the phrase, "We are one," written at the bottom. The FBI believes the number of skulls correlates with what are believed to be the total number of his victims.
The end. Now, Is an ode to murder the same as a manifesto?
No.
Or similar, perhaps?
I think since that part was in quotes, I'm under the belief system that he just titled it that.
Oh, so it wasn't like a poem or anything.
I mean, I don't know. I guess not. An ode to murder. On a summer's eve, how I love thee.
How
Oh,
I
murder.
love thee.
Murder, murder. Murder, murder, murder. I don't know, man. I don't...
So 3 for sure, possibly 11.
Mm-hmm.
And most likely would never have stopped until he was physically incapable.
I mean, it seems like this dude just genuinely enjoyed the act. He never said that he was competing with Bundy, or he said that he thought Bundy was great or whatever. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a very, very weird thing, you know?
Well, I mean, he certainly put a lot of thought into it. He certainly went out of his way to keep himself with money and the ability to travel and all of these things. He was, I mean, to turn off your phone and stop using your credit cards, I guess that creates just as much of a strange, pattern as it would if you
There was a site that I was reading on earlier that, said, I guess this guy is as, into the factoids of these kinds of people as we are.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, when people ask him how someone could get away with killing, 17 people, he just always would chalk it up to, well, they didn't live in the age we live in now. There was no mass media. There was no Facebook. There's no cell phones. A lot of the bigger or higher body count killers operated well before DNA evidence.
That is true.
So this guy, not only being able to, just the 3 he did, and really the only reason he was caught after this one is because he was using her debit card. That I don't understand.
Yeah.
After everything that this dude has done and for all of the preparation and care that he took to not be found, him using the victim's debit card seems weird as fuck.
Yeah, it does. It seems like he would have known that's an amateur move and not to make such a simple mistake.
Yeah. People make mistakes, I guess.
I guess.
Like this guy's whole life.
Momentary lapse of judgment there.
Right.
That's all it takes.
So I want to just go into a little bit more detail about the one that we know a lot about, which is Samantha Koenig. So when he gets there to the coffee stand, right, he shows her his gun, and he goes inside, says to her, turn off the lights. He climbs over the thing, her back's turned, she's on her knees. He ties her hands together with zip ties and makes her get into his white Ford Focus, where she tried and, of course, failed to escape, who had a gun to her head and said that he would kill her if she tried it again. He drives around town with her, bound in the vehicle. He explains to her that it was simply a kidnapping for ransom, and if she cooperated, that she would be returned unharmed. This proves that you should never believe anyone that tells you that.
Right.
And you should rather die from a struggled gunshot wound to the head than go anywhere this person is trying to bring you. Because that shit's fucking terrifying.
Hell yeah.
He kept her alive for several hours, even drove her back to the coffee stand to retrieve her phone.
Jesus.
Which he then used to send fake text messages to her boyfriend, who was due to pick her up after her shift. The text read, "Hey, I'm spending a couple of days with friends. Let my dad know."
That didn't seem
Yeah.
odd to him.
Then it did, is the thing. Keyes took Samantha to his house on his property where he tied her up in a shed. He turned his radio up so nobody could hear her scream. After demanding her address, he made his way to retrieve her ATM card from her boyfriend's truck, which is crazy. In a gut-wrenching twist, while stealing the debit card, Keyes was confronted by Samantha's boyfriend, who was already on edge after discovering that she was not at work when he had arrived to pick her up, as well as having received a strange text message from her phone earlier, which had in fact been sent by Keyes
Oh, shit.
while she's still alive. Thinking he was just a random burglar attempting to break into his car, he ran inside to get help, and Keyes fled.
Wow.
Returning to his property, Keyes poured himself a glass of wine and then returned to his shed, where he raped a sobbing Samantha. He then strangled her to death. Then he went to his New Orleans cruise for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
2 motherfucking weeks. On his return to Anchorage, Keyes began preparing the ransom note, but first he decided to remove Samantha's body from the cupboard. He applied makeup to her face before unsettlingly sewing her eyes open with fishing line to give her the appearance of being alive. He then took a Polaroid of her holding up, in quotes, holding up that day's newspaper. He typed a note demanding $30,000, and he left that, as well as the photograph of Samantha staged to look alive in a park under a memorial flyer of a dog named Albert, before using Samantha's phone to text her boyfriend. A few days later, in the police evidence photos, they have the text message he sent. Connor Park sign under pic of Albert. Ain't she purty? That's the text he sent. It's from her phone.
Wow.
Yeah. A few days later, Keyes drove to Matanuska Lake, dismembered her body, cut a hole in the ice, and dumped her remains in the lake.
Holy fuck.
At the same time, her father, James Koenig, believed his daughter was still alive after seeing the sickening photograph. He was depositing the ransom money into Keyes' account, with the $30,000 having been generously donated by members of the community. As he had instructed her family to deposit the money into her debit account, authorities were able to determine that the perpetrator was driving a white Ford Focus. Keyes was then being pulled over for a traffic stop, where authorities found dye-stained bills from a bank robbery, a ski mask, a gun, and Samantha's phone and debit card.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He did not think this one through at all.
No, it even says here, if he hadn't become complacent and killed Samantha Koenig in his hometown, authorities agree it's very likely he may never have been caught at all.
Right.
Yeah.
He got lazy upon lazy upon lazy.
Yeah, it's fucked, man.
I mean, clearly it's a lot of work to continue killing people all across the country, and rather expensive.
But he says here to the police that are interrogating him that he would tell them anything that they wanted to know, just as long as they made the promise to keep everything out of the press.
Right.
He says, "I'll tell you everything you want to know. I'll give it blow by blow if you want. I have lots more stories to tell."
But all your hobbies are going to cost you some money. I mean, if you enjoy doing it, it's going to cost you money.
He had that construction company or whatever.
Right, right.
And, he stole those paintings from Target.
He did have
You know.
those.
Making $30-$40 right there. This is
Wow.
Anchorage homicide detective Monique Dahl says of Keyes. He didn't kidnap and kill people because he was crazy. He didn't kidnap and kill people because his deity told him to, or because he had a bad childhood. He did this because he got an immense amount of enjoyment out of it. Much like an addict gets immense amount of enjoyment out of drugs. In a way, he was an addict, and he was addicted to the feeling that he got when he was doing it. When asked by investigators why he committed his crimes, Keyes simply replied, "Why not?"
Because why the hell not? What else am I doing?
Man. This is snippets from his ode to murder. Your face crammed in dark curls like a portrait. The sun shone through highlights of red. What color, I wonder, and how straight it turned plastered black with the sweat of your blood.
So it is a poem
Yeah,
of sorts.
idiot. Him, not you, and you, though. But him, mostly.
I mean, I know poetry doesn't have to rhyme, but I like it a lot better when it does. I like melodic poetry. Oh.
How's this for fucking poetry? On December 10th, 2012, Keyes' mother, Heidi, and 4 of his sisters attended a small funeral service for Keyes in Deer Park, Washington. The pastor, Jake Gardner, opened the service by saying, "He is not in a better place. He is in a place of eternal torment." Indeed. The preacher that is there to send you off to the great beyond says, "Nah, he's in hell, y'all."
Spared your mama no fucking blows.
I would have looked her dead in the eyes as I said that shit too.
You gave birth to a demon.
You raised a monster, lady.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you're happy.
Hope you're happy.
Bitch.
Proud of yourself.
Bitchy crabs.
That's fucking crazy, though.
Pinch.
Can't say I've ever heard of a priest doing that.
I mean, I don't attend a whole lot of serial killer.
No. But I mean,
funerals, but
yeah, I can't,
but being like, hey, you know what, guys? I know we're here for a reason, but fuck this guy.
yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say that because I didn't know him, and I don't know
this
you
guy.
people. Fuck this guy. That's right.
If any of what I read is true, fuck this guy.
Yeah, he's
in hell.
kind of a cunt as far as I can see, and I can see pretty far.
I'm one of those cool priests.
That's right. I say cunt.
Yeah.
Thanks, God.
I cut the sleeves off of my robe to look badass.
That motorcycle outside? That's
Mhm.
mine.
Yeah.
That's my motorcycle. It's
Of course
not.
I still wear a
I mean,
helmet.
it's not a Harley either, but you know those are expensive, and I'm a priest.
Yeah.
You want to see the picture of her as 2 week dead chick holding up a paper?
Not really, but yes. You know what? That's really well preserved for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
see where you
like I
would-
said, he put makeup on her and sewed her eyes open, and like did the makeup to simulate bruises from beatings that would have taken place and things.
I could see where you would think she might still be alive.
Yeah, her mouth though. It's been dead for 2 weeks in that picture.
That's insane. That is insane. You couldn't get away with that with cameras nowadays.
No, and then
Way too many megapixels. You would see.
And then
a lot
the
more.
breaking news in Anchorage that day was Greeks face new austerity. I don't know what that means. There are easier ways to demand $30,000 from someone. Like, I could just be like, Chris, give me $30,000.
Yeah, but
No, do it now.
You're
You're not going to do it, are you?
I mean, there's no incentive.
Do I have to kill you and go on a cruise?
There's no incentive. There's.
You get to go on a cruise. I'll pay for
You
it.
gonna buy me a ticket with my own money?
Nah.
No.
No, you're gonna have to pay for it. Actually, for my part too. Do it. Do it. I'm on the cruise website already. This is embarrassing if I don't do it now.
I have your daughter and stuff.
That's not cool, man.
No, that's what you would say to me because I don't have a daughter.
Oh, yeah.
So again, there's no incentive. You're not threatening me.
I have one or two of those things,
Yeah, you do.
and I'm fond of them greatly.
Even though they poop a lot
It's a lot of poop.
and smell like poop a lot.
No, they smell like fresh new babies all the time.
Mm.
So, what do you think of Israel Keys? I never got a middle name, so I'm going to call him Israel Palestine Keys. Yes, I did it.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's too soon, but it's certainly in poor taste.
This is bad taste in my mouth for sure.
It is sour pudding, dude. I mean, you know, I find him to be an interesting character. Just going by, you know, the other types of characters that we've talked about so far during the tenure of the show, and he's an interesting one. He's not.
I'm super curious to, and it's the same thing as like when someone who is thought of as a musical genius or something like that dies, you can't help but think to yourself, well, what if they started to suck the next year? Like he if not caught or whatever, not if he didn't kill himself, maybe he shows that he's a big doofus, and we don't think that this magical murder machine man,
Right.
which, I mean, is not something that one should aspire to being, but if there's one that exists, we're going to talk about him.
Sure.
And, oh, man.
I mean, that could be the case. It's hard to say this guy was crazy as fuck. Like it's easy to say about so many of the other people we talk about.
Right,
you know?
right, yeah, and most of the other people we talk about did actually have, brain fart thingies.
Right.
But you heard the Anchorage cop lady, she was like, no, he was just kind of really super into it.
Yeah, I mean,
And not even that he would get off on doing it. Like, it wasn't like the weird sexual perversion like fucking Albert Fish, where he could only get weird old man
Or
hard
like
if they had hurty stuff happening.
Right.
This dude just, I mean, I almost think that the rapes that he admitted to committing were just byproducts of a violent act.
Right.
And he was like, well, if I'm gonna do this, I might as well have sex at the same time, which is fucking terrifying.
Sure.
But I don't think that was part of his selection process at all.
I don't either. It sounded more like it was kind of like a, like you said, well, if I'm already here doing this part, then I might as well ramp it up one extra level and fucking enjoy.
Like, if I'm at the gas station to fill my tank up with gas, I might as well get a whole big bottle of Wild Turkey while I'm here.
Right.
Go driving
Slim
a
Jim
little
and
bit.
a Coke, you know.
Go driving a bit, you know.
I think, that's...
So, yeah, he's both terrifying and also the unknown just leaves so many spots and openings for not.
I mean, the map of his travels alone is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, you guys should do some extracurriculars on this and check out just the traveling that he did in between, what was it, 2001 and 12 when he was caught?
Yeah.
And it is all fucking over the place. Even England and Ireland he goes to. But it's crazy where he went, and it's even crazier the places that they found his kits.
So
And
how many murder kits did they find? Do we know?
I had that pulled up in the thing that I had. Let me see if I can find that right quick.
Because that's fucking crazy. Because when he died, he was only 34.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shit to be doing.
Yeah, it is.
In your fucking 20s and 30s. I mean, 2001 to 2012 was 12 years, so he must have started when he was 24?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because, like he said, he says that he killed one just before he joined the army, and then when he got out is when he started again. So, and that was in 98. He joined the army.
I think so. Yeah.
So, let's see.
That's fucking crazy.
All right. So his kill kits: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It says here on this map, and that is he has 2 in New York State, 1 in Texas, 1 in Alaska, 1 in what's the perfectly square state that's above or next to Montana or below Montana, next to Idaho. This one there.
I believe that to be Utah.
Utah.
Colorado there.
Colorado or Utah there.
Utah.
And then one in Washington. Yeah, it's he did some shit, man. Like, and if he didn't do some shit, he most certainly did intend to do some shit.
Had plenty of intentions, indeed. I mean, the methodology behind hiding all these kill kits and 2 years waiting to go get this one couple, like, what the fuck was the decision-making process there? You know, like, I'm so curious as to the thought process and decision-making of it all that you're like, yeah, fuck this couple. I don't know them or anything, but fuck this couple so much so that I'm going to hide the tools I'm going to kill them with 2 years in advance. Go on to do some other shit because, you know, my calendar's full and stuff. And then later come back when you're, you know, damn good and ready. You know, like, what? That's crazy. But
he killed people that he didn't know or care about or would have any kind of connection to connect him to.
And regardless of this ridiculously, you know, convoluted upbringing in all the fucking, you know, the hate groups and all that kind of shit, basically, he put all that aside. So none of this had anything to do with that.
Right.
It's just that's kind of sort of how and when he learned to be a little callous.
That's the couple that he killed for sure.
Wow.
The Couriers, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
that's so strange. That's not usually how you hear it, you know? You usually hear the growing up and the grooming of a terrible person is kind of what starts them on the road to being an even more terrible person. Which, in this case, I guess that's true, but not in the same way. You know?
It's a mystery and a conundrum, and it's really one that I'm not super duper that worried about finding out the answers to. Those are the skulls and the pentagram that he drew in blood that were in his whatever, his cell or whatever. It's, you know what? Fuck this guy. That's right. I'm going to take a hard stance against Chris's better judgment, and I'm going to say, fuck this guy.
Fuck this guy.
He doesn't deserve to not say, fuck this guy. He's a piece of work, isn't he?
He's a piece of work, for sure. I mean, it doesn't sound like, I mean, with his what's the word I'm searching for? It's hard to say love or respect for his family.
I thought you were going to say chutzpah.
Kind of, yeah. Despite that, and despite owning his own company and obviously having people that work for you that you never harm and like all this other shit, like, it's hard to say he was a terrible person.
He never, like, he didn't abuse his wife or children. He obviously cared greatly for them. Considering the fact that his biggest fear was his daughter finding out about the fucked up shit he did. But man,
which she most certainly has.
So calculating, and even in the what seem like in the moment things he does, like answering her fucking cell phone messages to tell her boyfriend that she is gonna go out, you know, stay with some friends for a few days to tell her dad. Like, he could have just not done anything.
Right.
But then there wouldn't have been that few hours of confusion in which he had her and no one was looking yet. And it's super, I don't know if it's smart or if it's just the dude thought on his feet or because he couldn't have planned any of that. I don't know, man.
No, but there was a few hours of confusion before they start checking the tapes and all that kind of shit.
Mhm.
But I don't know, the whole thing, that whole last one just seemed so risky and
Yeah.
so unlike.
It seems like he stopped for a coffee and then was like, okay.
Almost like maybe, he kind of wanted to retire because he was tired of spending all that money and hiding the credit card
It
bill
seems
from
like
the,
that shit would get
from his
just
wife.
exhausting.
Yeah. And then like, oh, let me just do one more for old time's sake, and right here in me own backyard.
You don't shit where you eat, man.
You really don't.
You don't do that for certain. For
I mean-
shitting certain.
All the murders we talk about sound like so much fucking work.
I do suggest that anyone that is interested further check out his interrogation videos. He is as nonplussed by the situation as you could ever imagine a person to be. He's very matter of fact, but he isn't a robot in his matter of factness. He doesn't mind letting people know that he enjoyed what he did. He's not a laughing lunatic about it, but he isn't like remorseless is an understatement in that you can only be remorseless if there could possibly be remorse to have.
Right.
And he
So-
just didn't do anything wrong. Well, he's not even trying to convince them of that. That's why he's not crazy. He's
Right.
not even saying, no. I was told to do this by a dog or some shit. No. He's saying, no, I just really liked it.
Yeah,
It was,
no. Me and Satan are cool, but that's not. That is
Yeah, I
nothing
didn't do
to
it for
do
anyone
with.
other than you.
No.
It was this or, like, I don't know, Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah.
And I choose this. Yeah. Gotta be good at something.
Gotta be good at
But
something.
only one thing.
It's hard to have multiple hobbies. That gets expensive.
It takes so much time.
Apparently,
And
he
with
liked
kids-
to travel. He was an avid gun buyer because just judging by what the fuck was in that
Right.
one kill kit.
See, I'm guessing that he, I guess, would tell his family that he would travel for work.
I would think.
Being the construction guy or whatever. Because how else are you just leaving for
Contractors convention, honey.
going all of? No, there's no such thing.
Nah, I'm sure there isn't.
There is
but
no such thing.
I'm just saying.
Are you going to kill people again, Israel? Are you? You can tell me. I'm your wife. Or am I? I'm just kidding. I am your wife.
No, but yeah, I'm so curious. I'm so curious how these conversations went and how, and maybe the whole nonchalant of the whole thing is how he, convinced people that he was just going to do whatever, or,
I mean, that's what it is. It's hey guys, don't look suspicious.
yeah.
There's a cop here, and so you and your friends are like extra super suspicious. Well, yeah, this guy didn't have that bone in his body.
Mm-mm.
He didn't look suspicious because
Just whatever.
yeah, what are they gonna do? Catch me? Whatever. Hey, here's this stolen chick's credit card.
Just no way.
I would like to buy some pornography.
Some pornography. And guns for my next kill kit.
And you have just listened to another Israel-Palestinian relations destroying episode of See No, Hear No, Speak No.
Along with the UFOs, conspiracies, and remorseless murders. Morsels of remorselessness.
Ish. Remorseless-ish.
Ishness. That is hard to say.
Countdown. 3.
Dos.
And an all-encompassing smile as I did it. 1.
Bye, kids.
Sweet dreams.
So kiss me and smile for me and tell me that you'll wait for me and hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane, don't know when I'll be back again. Oh babe, I hate to go, 'cause I'm leaving on a jet plane, don't know when I'll be back again. Oh babe, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go.